Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
George and a few other people sent me this story, and boy, it got me riled up. This is something that gets to me personally, and you'll see why in a second. It's time to break up Live Nation. The Department of Justice sues Ticketmaster parent over alleged monopoly. And I don't know if you go see live shows. I've seen a bunch lately. In fact, I saw Cheap Trick and Heart a couple nights ago. I saw Morris Day and the Time last week. And I'm going to see like 5 or 6 more this year. And so I love going to live shows. And I went to a lot of live shows when I was younger, and I kind of stopped for a while, and I've started again. And the thing is that live shows can be fun, but they're also always expensive. And sometimes you look at the tickets, and by the way, I've got some tickets to show you. I've actually got some show and tell today. And it's sad how expensive they've become because it's just a ripoff. And I feel sorry for the bands because a lot of bands nowadays have to tour because they don't make that much money off the recording anymore. In the old days, you put out a hit record and you sold a lot of records and you made money off it. Nowadays, of course, your stuff is available everywhere. People can listen to it for free on YouTube. You can download it. They may or may not even pay for it. And so a lot of bands have to tour if they want to actually make money off of their music, or at least more money. And so, well, Live Nation's making money. But anyway, NBC News reports this, as does everybody else. Dacia Tolentino and Rob Weil wrote this. The Justice Department filed a lawsuit yesterday seeking to break up Live Nation, which is the parent company of Ticketmaster, alleging that it has hurt customers and violated antitrust laws by exercising oversized control over the live events industry. The suits, filed in the Southern District of New York and backed by attorneys general for 29 states plus D.C., alleges that Live Nation has engaged in practices that harm the entire entertainment industry, from artists and fans to venues and startups seeking to break into the business. It says Live Nation directly manages more than 400 musical artists, controls 60% of concert promotions at major venues, and through Ticketmaster, controls roughly 80% or more of major concert venues' ticketing, plus a growing share of the ticket resale market. Live Nation relies on unlawful anti-competitive conduct to exercise its monopolistic control over the live events industry in the United States at the cost of fans, artists, smaller promoters, and venue operators, says the Attorney General in a news release. The result is that fans pay more in fees, artists have fewer opportunities to play, smaller promoters get squeezed out, and venues have fewer real choices for ticketing services. It's time to break up Live Nation. Now, among the accusations are that it has worked with a venue management firm called Oakview Group to steer clients to sign exclusive agreements to use Ticketmaster. Co-founded by influential entertainment executive and former Live Nation chairman Irving Azoff, Oakview oversees dozens of arenas around the world. A representative for Oakview did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Also, the allegation that it has sought to snuff out competition in the concert promotion business through threats of retaliation and has acquired upstart groups it saw as threats. Also, that it signs long-term exclusionary deals that preempt venues from looking to alternative management companies and from using multiple ticketing platforms. And that Ticketmaster becomes the default ticketing platform for many artists because Live Nation controls such a large share of venues where they'd like to play. Meanwhile, in a statement, Live Nation denies all of this and says the Justice Department's allegations were baseless and his actions would prove counterproductive. Well, the story goes on, but we all understand what's going on here. And that is that Live Nation and Ticketmaster do control a very large portion of this field, okay? And now, that's been going on for a while. I remember when it was Convenient Ticket Corporation, CTC. I remember buying tickets through CTC back in the old days. And I remember, for instance, when they announced that Van Halen was coming to Cobo Hall in 1979 or 1980. And I worked at the gas station at the time, and I heard this, and I believe it was a Saturday morning when tickets went on sale. I jumped in my car, and I raced to a travel agency, because they were one of the places you could get tickets from. And I remember being there when they opened the doors, ran inside, I need tickets to Van Halen, and I got some decent seats. But of course, I paid a bunch of money. And, prior to that, before this company existed, if you wanted tickets to see a show, you may have to go to the box office. And so it did make sense that they had other locations you could buy tickets from. And then there were a couple competitors that sprang up that competed with CTC, but somewhere along the line, pretty much they all became Ticketmaster. Now, some bands have pushed back and attempted to get out from underneath the thumb of Ticketmaster to varying degrees of success. But I mentioned a couple years ago that the band The Cure was coming to play Pine Knob in Michigan. And I've seen them before, and I love that band, and I've loved their show. And so they actually said, the band did, that we are a little upset by how hard it is to get good seats to our shows if you're just a fan because of the pricing and the process. So we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the prices are fair and that there's a process for our fans to get tickets. And this whole thing about you pre-registered and they gave you a code and all this stuff. And I did everything necessary. And the morning of the sale, at the exact moment I could first log in, and they said tickets are available, log in. I logged in and goes, what would you like? And there's a screen showing you tickets available. So I picked 4 and I said, I want those 4. Not available. Do you want tickets? Yes. Pick 4. I picked 4. Not available. Do you still want tickets? Yes. Okay, pick. And no matter what I picked, they weren't available anymore. And this was the first morning they were on sale. And so the website was either crashing or they'd already sold out, despite the fact they claimed they had this almost like a lottery system. And if you got your name and pre-sale code, you could, do this and get tickets. And so I complained about this to everybody I could get within yelling distance of because I was so upset. And by the way, it rained really, really hard that night, and Pine Knob is an outdoor theater, so I'm not that upset by it. But I was complaining about this. And a friend of mine said, I know somebody who actually got tickets. And I said, what did they get? And they said, well, she was in the first group that was available to get tickets, and she got tickets on the lawn. Now, I don't know for certain that means the pavilion was sold out, but I think it was. But how did the pavilion sell out so quickly? And so what's funny is there's so much screaming and yelling, not just me, but everybody else screaming and yelling about this, that it made it back to the band. And I remember reading about this in the paper. The Cure actually came out and said, we're upset because we're trying to get this to where our tickets can get to regular people, and somehow it's still not working. And so along came, I believe it was Ticketmaster, but whoever the ticketing company was, they said, we're going to refund some money to people. We're going to give some people some money back. And one of the things that people were complaining about was that the Cure had said that tickets would be inexpensive. And yet I believe there's a $25 a ticket service fee on top of every other fee out there. And it's like, wait a second. If the tickets are $25 and the service fee is $25, you understand, like, calling it a service fee doesn't make it any less painful. And so there were refunds made, but it's one of these things where it's just gotten so out of control. So I have in my hand right here tickets to see, let's see what show this is, tickets to see Future Islands. Really, really good band, Future Islands. I love them. And so the tickets cost $59 for 2 tickets. Then it goes mailing fee, $15. Now, the postmark is right there. It didn't cost $15 to mail these to me, but I understand that's postage and handling, as they say. And then it goes web fee, $23.54. $23.54 for a grand total of $97.54. So that doesn't quite double the price of tickets. But by the way, this is through AEG Live Midwest, and I'm not sure if they're related to Ticketmaster or not. I'm simply talking about the industry in general here. Because, and yes, I did get the real tickets. I know you can get the tickets in your phone. Also, I went and saw Gary Newman, Frontline Assembly, and Ministry, and the online ticket thing crashed the system. And they actually had to get ID from people and check people in manually. So, I'm not scared of modern technology. It's just modern technology doesn't always work. And then these right here are tickets to see orchestral maneuvers in the dark. And let's see what that worked out to be. Admission to the show is $64, so $32 a ticket. $15 standard mail fee. The regular web fee, $25.04. $25.04. The regular web fee. Now, I can tell you that I was reading this article, and buried in here, somebody said, hey, by the way, what's with these darn service fees? When the tickets are $25 and the service fee is $25, what is that? And I saw somebody from the defendants here saying, oh, That's often the venue. Well, wait, doesn't the venue get some money from the tickets to begin with? It isn't. Now, I guess I'm naive. I always thought the general model was something like this. A promoter would find a band in town and a venue and say to the venue, are you interested in hosting these people at your venue? Yes, we are. Band, are you interested in playing at this venue? I'll work it out. Yes, we are. So the promoter acts like a matchmaker in that sense. And the promoter says, I'm guessing, that band, I'll get you paid, and venue, I'll get you paid, and we'll sell tickets, and that'll work, right? So when they sell tickets, in the old days, the venue had a box office where they would sell the tickets. And they would sell the tickets, and presumably they had a deal with the promoter, and the promoter would, in essence, I'm guessing in a perfect world, tell the band, if you guys want to play here, I'll see to it that you get paid this much money. Now, it might be a flat fee, or it might be a cut of the box office. I remember that when Led Zeppelin played the Pontiac Silverdome, I believe in 1977, they insisted on a flat fee and cash up front. And the cash took up basically a footlocker. But the point is that that's what's going on. So now that a third party's doing it on behalf of the venue and the promoter, the third party is the promoter, and the band, and they're tacking a service fee on that's the same size as the ticket. You have to go, wait a second. What is that service fee for now? And so it's just bloat. It's inflation. It's people just adding stuff on because they can. And so it's gotten out of control. And you need to have competition in the marketplace for prices to stay sane. And obviously, when you start buying up all of your competitors, and you also have a monopoly going in the sense that you control the band, you control the venue, you control the ticketing process, you control all of this, then you start having a situation that the Department of Justice is going to look at. And I think they do need to look at it. And so it's crazy to me, like I said. I remember back in the old days, not just the Van Halen show, but you go see a show, it's like 10 or 15 bucks. Now, I understand, Steve, yeah, phone calls also used to be a nickel. I mean, okay, at a payphone. I understand that. But this ain't just inflation. This is inflation that's been pushed up to hyperspace, okay? Yeah, it's a video game reference. And which only cost $0.25. And this is something that I'm glad they're looking at. Now, I'm not saying you got to break up Live Nation, but if nothing else, they got to hold some hearings. And I want to see somebody being grilled by a senator. I understand that the DOJ is not. I'm just joking here. I want to see some angry senators grilling some people from Live Nation, going, $25 service fee on top of a $25 ticket? What's that all about? That's if I saw that question get asked, I wouldn't even care about the answer. I'd be so happy that somebody finally asked that question. So, George, thanks for sending it from NBC News. Dacia Tolentino and Rob Weil wrote that it is time to break up Live Nation, says the DOJ. They filed a lawsuit against Ticketmaster's parent over their alleged monopoly in this space. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Have you noticed that the and IRS spell theirs?